So every aircraft has a black box which contains the flight data recorder and what is called the cockpit voice recorder. Now both these devices have been recovered now. So let's tell you what exactly is expected to be revealed on the cockpit voice recorder of flight AI-171. Now the cockpit voice recorder is like a hard drive which records audio conversations inside the aircraft, especially in the cockpit. The first thing and most important thing that the cockpit voice recorder will reveal are the exact last words of Captain Sumit Sabharwal and the co-pilot Clive Kundar in the cockpit. Remember, a Mayday message was sent out just about 18 to 20 seconds after liftoff. What exactly were those words they actually used? Number two, it will clarify whether they mentioned just Mayday, 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 or did they talk about thrust or lift or loss of power? Was it a brief message or did they provide even more detailed message? That will be settled once and for all by the cockpit voice recorder. The precise time of the Mayday message, we're hearing it was about 18 seconds after the aircraft lifted off, but that precise time becomes extremely important in the scheme of the investigation. Number four, the full cockpit conversations, not just the Mayday message, but all communication between the pilots and between air traffic control. And remember, this entire flight lasted just 32 seconds, but the full cockpit conversations of the aircraft on ground and then also in the air. Number five that investigators will be looking at is those 32 crucial seconds from the time the aircraft lifted off till the time it actually impacted, killing nearly everyone on board. Those full conversations in those 32 seconds beyond just the Mayday call will be recorded. Cockpit audio warnings. Now remember, depending on what happened inside the cockpit, the flight control system, the warning systems inside the cockpit have audio signals, audio warning signs, audio alarms. There's even a stick shaker which has a vibrating sound. All of this would have been captured in the cockpit voice recorder and will allow investigators to create a sequential timeline. Number seven, any other audio indicators from the cockpit? Were there any other sounds, either technical sounds from the warning systems or by the pilots themselves? Sometimes there are verbal communications which may not necessarily be, words. There could be just sounds of acknowledgement. Those become important and will be captured on the cockpit voice recorder. Number eight, crew resource management on the flight deck. Remember, a tiny amount of time would have been recorded in the cockpit voice recorder, what was on the ground, and then those 32 seconds, how resources were used in the cockpit, what kind of CRM happened, that will be nailed in the cockpit voice recorder. And finally, and most importantly perhaps, a clear, very definitive, non-theorized sequential map layering the audio response to the alert system. When those communications actually happened between the pilots and when those alarms were actually triggered. Was there any delay between the alarm and the response? Was there any communication gap? All of those will be clarified. Remember, these were very, very qualified pilots, and whatever they were speaking in the cockpit has been recorded in that cockpit voice recorder and will be crucial to the investigation.
And now let's
tell you a little bit about the black box itself. The black box, like I said, contains both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder that I've just told you about. Now, both these devices are currently with the investigators who are looking at it. As we speak, in fact, analysis has already begun. That data has presumably already been downloaded and is being scrutinized right now. Now, the black box which contains these two devices is located in the tail of the aircraft. The tail, which became one of those, defining images of the crash, which had been largely intact. The black box, like I said, consists of two devices, which is the flight data recorder, also recovered, and the cockpit voice recorder. The FDR records all data, all parameters, airspeed, altitude, angle of attack, everything. And like I said, the cockpit voice recorder captures the timing sequence of events through audio communications inside the cockpit. So we can confirm, as NDTV reported first, that both these devices are now in the hands of forensics investigators to help them map the minute details which will be key to the crash probe.